Yes, hello and welcome back to our second part of episode 6 of Film Focus, a weekly independent movie review show where we're looking at 2 more films, probably more decent than last episode, but we won't go into that because you can go watch that episode now.
Yeah, moving on.
God.
The first film is...
No, well, we haven't... Hold your horses, Anthony. I am Fred Black, and you...
Anthony Squire.
There we go. We have to introduce stuff.
So I thought you were going to start talking about...
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. I'm not going to start talking about those films again, don't worry. Unless, we get really annoyed in the last half of this episode and just starts...
We won't.
Yeah. Let's hope not, shall we?
We won't.
So we're going to start with our films this week with Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, which I was really, really excited about. I will be honest. I was really excited about this film.
It had potential.
Yeah, it's a horror film written by Guillermo del Toro, who did Hellboy and Pan's Labyrinth, and is just a visionary genius. He's brilliant. I love him. And it's about this broken family that moves into a house.
Young girl goes to live with the family, and there just happens to be some creatures in the house who want to possess the young girl. Well, not possess. They want her to become one of them.
Yeah, kind of kill her, and become one of them.
If you think of Gremlins or Critters, it's like a serious version of that.
And I can imagine. I can understand that viewpoint on it. I can understand the
but it didn't have half the potential of of Critters or Gremlins. It didn't have half the humour.
But this wasn't, unlike the dubious Fright Night, I don't think this was meant to be played as a comedy. This was meant to be played as a straight up horror, and as a straight up horror film, I think it worked quite well. Although now you've said that the creatures are like Gremlins or Critters, I can't now get that image out of my head that it's going along that similar lines.
Sorry, I forgot to mention Sliver as well, the slugs that come down from space.
Actually, talking of Slither, we'll go on to that with our next film, because it's the same guy, same director and writer, yeah.
Oh, wow.
You knew this when you watched the film, we pointed that out when we rented it. But anyway, Don't Be Afraid of the Dark.
Acting surprised.
Yeah, but, acting surprised. Well, do you know this guy's an actor as well?
This film, Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, it could have been a lot better than it was. It
doesn't make me afraid of the dark.
It moved at a fairly decent pace. It was boring in parts. It didn't...
That is my one complaint. I mean, overall I really did enjoy this film. I was scared, I was entertained, but it was a bit shaky in places with the whole with the plot of... They kind of want to keep themselves secret and hidden, these creatures, but at the same time they seem to just run amok in the house with no concern for who sees them, really.
Especially the dinner party.
Especially the dinner party, yes. Yes, this kind of fight with the girl. But the creatures themselves, I thought they were quite scary. Every time, I read loads of reviews that said every time the creature was revealed, once the creature was finally revealed in the full daylight and setting and everything, it was, it wasn't scary anymore. I still found them a little bit creepy and scary.
I didn't find them scary because I just kept thinking of, like I said, films like Critters and Gremlins.
I think it might not have been the size aspect of it, but just, the general face of the creature was a bit okay, that's a little creepy. And the way that they were smart and able to use all the weapons, and they were able to fashion weapons, and they were able to think for themselves. It was sort of like a kind of Aliens but smaller kind of vibe to it.
The whole film just had that feel of it's all been done before, let's try and do something different.
Well, the fact is
they could have done a lot better.
And the fact is it is a remake of a 60s TV series, or just a TV special, I think, of the same name. But that being said, I was still very, very impressed with it. I mean, not that it's a thing with all these films I'm expecting to like. I do like. I mean, I have had some big disappointments in the past with certain films, but this one, I think it lived up to my expectations. It wasn't the film of the year. It's not going to be the film of the year for me, but it was definitely very entertaining, and I I was
boring in parts. It was, although.
Oh, you're going to mention Jim Robinson of fucking Neighbours. Oh.
Alan Dale was in it, and I just got thinking, oh my god, they got Jim Robinson from Neighbours in it. You know,
more likely they remember him from the OC.
Yeah.
Well, I don't watch the OC. You watch the OC rather extensively, but he's in
the acting in that. Is just
no, he's not in the OC. He's in One Tree Hill, isn't he?
No, it's the OC.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
His character dies at the end of the second season.
That obviously proves that I don't watch those TV shows. Because
the acting in those TV shows is beautiful. It's just so over the top. Sorry, getting up sidetracked here. But Alan
Dale, just have to correct it. Sorry, no, One Tree Hill.
Alan Dale plays the same character. It's like Jim Robinson version, whatever.
He's I mean, his little cameo is quite good, but the acting overall, I thought, was, especially from the little girl. The little girl is very, very good, and she manages to convey like fear and curiosity, and and also the kind of family dynamic they have going on in there it's kind of predictable and kind of stereotypical of other films, but it's acted so well that I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it so much.
I don't think it was acted okay. The actresses did what they had to do. It could have been so much better. If you're going to do little creatures like that, you've got to think of, like I said before, in this episode.
Yeah.
Gremlins, Critters, Slither.
Yeah, but this...
I mean, they were...
Yeah, but they weren't aiming for a comedy. So, short of making it a comedy, I don't see how you could have tried to make them any more scary, really. I don't know how you would have gone about it.
Scary, though. It was...
Well, maybe that's the problem. That's the problem, then. If you have little creatures like that, like you do in Gremlins and Critters, maybe you have to go for a comedy aspect of it. Maybe that's why this film didn't really work as well as it should have done. If you had, like, one kind of menacing presence, then that would have been okay. But as they were loads of little things, it obviously just triggers this thing in your brain. It was like, Critters! Hey!
Oh, come on,
for a good time.
Who hasn't seen Critters?
Quite a lot of people, I would imagine.
Come on, you've got to see Gremlins.
Yeah, I'll just stand by you on that. You have to see Gremlins.
I mean...
Especially at Christmas. Whoa, excuse me. Especially at Christmas.
I mean, number 2 was brilliant, don't get me wrong, but number 1... to me was my favourite. Number 2, same director, took it to an extreme. I love that film. But number 1, the scene with the woman on the stair lift and she goes flying out the window.
Flying out the window. That's brilliant. Joe Dante had some inspired moments in that film. But yes, don't be afraid of the dark. I mean, you've got some great tense moments in it. I mean, it doesn't overuse music in it too much. I don't think
those tense moments. They were.
I don't think the music helped. Music is kind of.
Music's a key thing.
Not really. I've seen quite a few horror films where they don't use music either at all or they use it very sparingly. So in like tense moments, that there's just nothing happening. I mean, Alien does it.
Yeah,
Alien does it with no music at all throughout the tense scenes. It's just the sound effects. And this film, I mean, I think they kind of felt a need to have a little bit of music playing in the background, a little bit slow, kind of paced just to build up some tension. Maybe removing it might have, made the film a little scarier, but it didn't rely too much on, all the music going blah to make you jump at the same time the film did. It wasn't. Yeah, thank you. Outside there, if you didn't hear that was beautiful. Some guy obviously agreeing with us. Obviously, he's agreeing with us in the street, going, "I approve."
No, but I see where you're coming from. It had the right.
Excuse me.
It had the right idea, but at the end of the day, when you see those creatures, it just triggers off in the back of your mind.
Not for me. Until you mentioned it today, I hadn't thought of Critters or Gremlins.
Come on, it's not even Slither. The slugs that come down.
No, I hadn't thought of Slither either.
I love that scene in the barn and there's something wrong with me, and then she just explodes.
It's a good film. But yeah, I gave Don't Be Afraid of the Dark an 8. I give it an 8 out of 10. An 8? I really did think it was that good.
I gave it a 5. It had potential. The ending, well, I won't ruin the ending for you. The ending could have been better. And the whole film, it had potential. It could have been a lot better, but it was just one another. I think let's they've asked us to make this film.
No, I think see, you say that. I don't think Guillermo del Toro is someone who goes into, because he wrote and produced it. I don't think he's someone who goes into making a film just for the sake of making a film, because he's done Hellboy, and he did that with quite a bit of love.
Hellboy 2 is good, yeah.
Yeah, and he's done Pan's Labyrinth, and he obviously put lots of time and effort into that. So I don't think Del Toro...
He didn't direct this one, though.
No, he didn't. But with the script and how it all pans out, I don't think he's someone to just go, yeah, well, let's just botch that ending on there. Maybe it was the co-writer, because he didn't solely write it. But
well, I mean, like you said, if he directed it, I think it would have been a lot better.
I was surprised he didn't take the initiative and direct it. I don't know what else he's doing. He must be doing something else, or he must have his focus, directed on something else yeah, I really did like it that much. Maybe it's the fact I was hyped up about this film for so long. All the trailers that came out for it, I was just
hyped, man.
Maybe it's that I may have fallen foul to it, but I really did enjoy it that much. I mean, I don't think...
I do see it coming from on some things. I mean, I gave it a 5, but
you could go higher.
They've done certain things better.
But I don't think it'll make it into my films of the year. No, but as solid entertainment goes, I think this is definitely up there with one of the best we've seen in a while. In my opinion, in my opinion.
If you're bored on a Saturday night, you've got nothing else to watch, watch this one.
Yeah. Anyway, that takes us squarely onto our trailers, which we start with a bizarre French film called The Fairy.
Oh, this was good. I like this trailer.
You kind of knew what was going on.
Hardly any dialogue, just background music, weird stuff happening, like something falls to the ground, they just pick up a baby, and it's like, wait a minute, did that just fall? Oh, but it's okay.
Essentially, what we can work out from the film is this woman, Fiona, comes into this hotel or, some sort of B&B, asks the guy, just says to the guy, my name's Fiona, I'm a fairy, you've got 3 wishes to grant. And he just goes, do you want a room? and that's how the trailer starts, and then it's just bizarre image after bizarre image.
I think this trailer was spot on. It didn't really give anything away, it just showed you this bizarre stuff, but it wasn't just a couple of shots, the whole trailer.
Yeah, there was like 2 minutes worth of bizarre footage, and there's like police getting involved, like dragging them apart as they kiss. It's just weird things like that.
It makes me want to see a film, because you know how some trailers rely on just that one moment,
or
that one scene, and you think, oh god,
one defining shot, that will be plastered on every poster, on every DVD cover, and you're just like, it's just But this film doesn't rely on it.
This one, I want to see it.
I do want to see this film. I'm so eagerly awaiting the DVD or cinema. If it's released in the cinema over here, we've got to see it in the cinema, because this will be a fucking laugh. This will be an absolute laugh. The next film, however, will be a very more serious affair. The Bourne Legacy.
Matt Damon's not in this.
No, they're taking...
Is it set at the beginning of Treadstone?
Beginning of Treadstone? I have no idea what you're talking about there. Treadstone.
I've seen films.
I've only seen the first Bourne film, the Bourne...
I recognise some of the actors...
What's the first Bourne film called? Is it just called...
Bourne Identity.
The Bourne Identity, there you go.
I recognise some of the actors in the trailer.
There's Edward
from the Bourne... Sorry?
There's Edward Norton in it. I don't know if he's in
From the Bourne Ultimatum, the third one. And would you like to join our project? And then the phrase, the dialect that comes up is... There was more than just one.
Yeah, it was never only just one, or something like that. Obviously hinting that they're trying to kind of take a new tangent with Bourne.
But to be honest, if you're going to call it a Bourne film, you need Matt Damon in there.
Well, maybe they seem to be taking, for me, a completely new approach to this, because they seem to be introducing either genetic engineering or something like that, because they inject him. There's this shot where you have like a needle, and someone's pressing down on a needle. And then someone looks at the palm of his hand and going, that healed up a lot quicker. That healed up really quickly.
Yeah.
So, are they essentially turning him into Wolverine without the claws? Is there some sort of genetic mutation plot going on or something? I don't know. Are they making him a super soldier? Because that's what I gathered from the trailer, is that he's some super soldier that decides, fuck this, I'm going on my own way.
I don't know, I mean, well... But continuity error, if they all go their own ways, because you think, wait a minute.
They've got to be very careful, but I don't know. It looked interesting. There's a lot of intrigue, and
this one's a hit or miss, literally, because Bourne film.
We know so little about it.
Bourne, Bourne Legacy, but Bourne's not in it, and
no,
I don't know. I have to wait and see on that one, really.
We will.
Can we go on to the next trailer?
And you're like you're like a 5-year-old kid with candy for Iron Sky.
Oh, this trailer.
It is
beautiful.
It is probably the best trailer we've seen all week, purely for the stupid premise. Nazis have been hiding on the moon for 70 years, and they are now coming to take over the world.
This trailer was
awesome!
This trailer was spot on. In terms of, wait a minute, how have they been hiding on the moon? Where's their food been coming from?
Somehow in 1945, they just launched themselves up to the moon and hid on the moon. Which, if they had that sort of technology in 1945, why didn't they just launch the attack then?
But, it's beautiful. You see a screenshot shot of the moon, suddenly out of nowhere, spaceships come out from under the moon. It's like, wow!
How did they not see this on Apollo 18?
Yeah. When you got the space missions and... lasers? Was it lasers?
Oh, there were laser guns, yeah. There were lots of laser guns.
This trailer looked
There was
beautiful.
like zeppelins blowing up all over the place, were space fighters destroying the International Space Station. There were like massive armies of Nazi soldiers like goose-stepping their way all across the country. This looked absolutely fucking mental.
It looked beautiful, like... The director, I love directors, like, I don't know who directed it, but I want to know, because
he doesn't
care.
Kiss, don't he?
He doesn't care. I love those sort of directors. Continuity, what's that? But it just like for 70 years they've hidden on the moon.
How have they hidden on the moon?
And you think
she's saying to that class of children, she says to them, "Where are we from? The dark side of the moon." It's like a classroom of children. The dark side of the moon. You're like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's one of those shows you watch and you just think, that's not even possible, but who cares?
No, it's probably the most bonkers trailer we've seen this week.
I want to see this film when it comes out, because it was just it was such a beautiful trailer.
Oh,
no one cares about continuity. That's just been flicked out the window.
It's absolutely insane, and I loved it. Yeah. And now excitement is over. We're just like, we get through that film. And the next one we go through is Seeking a Friend for the End of the World, which looks really good.
It does, actually. Basically, I love the intro to this trailer. You got Steve Carell?
Steve Carell, yeah.
And
it was Crazy Stupid Love that we reviewed last episode.
Yeah, but he's in his car with some girlfriend. They're listening to the radio, and just the way the radio's going, the person on the radio, oh, by the way, in 3 weeks, a massive asteroid's going to hit the Earth.
Oh yeah, no, the brilliant thing is, it sounds like they've just done a spin-off of Armageddon, where it hasn't worked. So it's like, this asteroid twice the size of Earth is on a collision course, and the diversion attempt has failed.
Yeah.
So in 3 weeks, we're all going to die.
But back to your favourite music channel.
Yeah, back to your favourite music tune. It's like, really? And it's essentially like Steve Carell just like travelling like around America or around his hometown and everything, just seeing how everyone deals with the end of the world. But it looked genuinely funny.
Yeah, there's some good jokes in there.
And kind of heartwarming as well. Yeah. And plus, Keira Knightley, who I'm not a big fan of, but she looks quite good in this film. She looks like she could be putting in a decent performance. Something slightly different than what she... Yeah, but considering she's made a name for herself as Elizabeth Swann from the Pirates of the Caribbean films, this might be something slightly different for her. Just a slightly more low-key film. She actually has a chance to act rather than...
Wasn't she in The Jacket, was it?
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that. I think...
I've got it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
It's good.
But yeah. Yeah, well, how's that film then? Is she any good in that?
She's alright, not amazing, but yeah.
No, I'm just thinking back to that Empire list that we were looking at, the 25 sexiest characters in cinema.
Yeah.
The women one we looked at was essentially the 25 sexiest women acting today. Bar there was Marilyn Monroe thrown in there for a character and everything, but essentially if you did that list as the 25 sexiest women acting in cinema today, it would have been that list, and she was on it. Don't know why. Don't know why Keira Knightley was on it, but that's just my view. Anyway, sidetracking. Next trailer, but yeah, Seeking a Friend at the End of the World. That's a quite good film.
A good sort of laid-back comedy. It's the kind of film I can imagine the asteroid actually misses Earth, and everyone's like, "Oh my god,
we've done so many horrible things."
I'm bankrupt.
Money didn't matter then. Can I have my money back now? No. And then last trailer we're going to talk about is In Darkness, which you have an obsession with Nazis this week after Iron Lady. Iron Lady?
What are you talking about?
Iron Sky. Well, this film is
all the trailers we looked through this week. You watch a trailer, Iron Sky, Nazis coming down from space. I mean, you see a serious film about the Second World War, and the Nazis hunting down the Jews. If you're going to look at one trailer, I think you've got to look at the other one as well.
The serious side of Nazis.
Yeah, I mean,
but yeah, this trailer looked fairly good. I'm not really hyped about this one as much as I was any other drama. It seemed to be like the Nazis kind of deploy someone to hunt for Jews in the sewers underneath a major city. And there's obviously like kind of betrayals and dramatic moments ensue. It looked alright, but I'm not excited about it that much.
Again, it's another hit or miss. I mean, it could be a good film, might not be. The trailer didn't give away that much, but it gave away enough.
It gave away, well, it just kind of made me feel like I'm not excited about it, but
if anything, it's made me hype up Iron Sky
even more. It's just another excuse for you to talk about space Nazis.
Oh, come on! Yeah, for 70 years of living on the moon, like, that's not impossible.
Anyway, stop, breathe, carry on with our next film review, which we move on to James Gunn's Super. Is it James Gunn? I think the director. Have you got it down there?
Yep.
Is it James Gunn? I got it right. Score. A film called Super, which is essentially a more violent version of Kick-Ass. And it's impossible to review this film without citing Kick-Ass, I think.
This film, it had some dodgy moments in it.
Oh yeah. It's essentially about this guy who, his wife...
falls for a drug dealer.
Liv Tyler falls for drug dealer Kevin Bacon. So it's kind of a big cast in there at the moment.
It's a big cast, but it didn't really save it.
But and he essentially turns into this superhero, the Crimson Bolt, in order to save the world, save his wife from this drug dealer.
It was good when he was off being the superhero, or trying to be. It was when. Oh, was it that?
Because he was flipped, wasn't he? Yeah. There's those scenes where he's like taking down petty criminals like drug dealers on the streets, and there's an amazing scene where he kind of someone cuts in the line at a cinema.
Yeah, he just races over to a car,
races over and beats the shit out of them with a wrench, and that's his weapon. He has a wrench, and then he gets like kind of various other tools he uses. But that was a hilarious scene, but. It was good. It wasn't as good as Kick-Ass because it was just a bit too creepy for its own good.
Ellen Page starred as Libby, who goes on to become his sidekick.
Yeah, she's like a comic. She works in a comic book store and she works in the diner as well, doesn't she? Or she like goes to the diner.
But she
becomes his sidekick called Balti. And kind of has this fantasy about making out or, having sex with a superhero. Yeah. It seems to be her thing, and it's hinted out throughout the film. And, well, I don't... You can pretty much guess where we're going with this. I'm not going to say anything, but we pretty much implied it to its full extent.
It's creepy.
And it just made it...
It ruined the film.
Yeah, if that hadn't been in it, if they had just been two characters just like,
fighting crime.
Yeah, not getting... involved in that sort of sense, it would have been fine, and it would have been a much better film. But it's just something a little bit creepy as that can just ruin a film.
Yeah,
and the rest of the film is good enough. I mean, the final sequence where he takes on Kevin Bacon,
that was good.
Is spectacular in its.
Kevin Bacon, he was great. Yeah. He was really good as the bad guy. And
the way that whole last sequence is shot is just quintessential, like comic book violence. I mean, it looks like it's come straight out of a graphic novel.
Yeah.
But it's just completely mental at times. It's a little bit upsetting sometimes. I mean, you got kind of shocking moments with. I mean,
it just didn't balance it out right, like Kick-Ass did. And
I mean, this is the same guy who did Slither. The writer, yeah. Are you acting surprised again, or did you genuinely not know that?
Genuinely not know that.
No, it's the same guy. The writer and director James Gunn is the same guy who did Slither.
Slugs that come down from space. Yeah. But anyway, so that's another
which
film.
is a genuinely funny and scary film. But this, it kind of treads a very fine line and doesn't get it right.
If it hadn't been for the young sidekick, well, falling for the...
Yeah, you could have had the young sidekick. I think you kind of had to have it. But, yeah, just not as far as it went. You didn't have to do that at all. And that is our main hang-up about the film, because otherwise it's very entertaining.
Because of that, I gave it a 4 out of 10.
Nah, I was going to give it like a bit of 7 of an 8, but then as that plot line developed, I dropped it down to a 6. I did drop it down to a 6. I can remember my own scores. It's just good, but a bit too weird, and I'm just not... we've had very weird films this week, and I think I'm just really looking forward to the... Yeah, the Nazis coming down from space! And our recurring theme for this week is Nazis in space. We should just do
want to see it, just for how they try and justify how they try and explain the continuity, but I don't think they will. They'll just be like,
they won't. They'll be like, fuck it, there are Nazis on the moon, let's get it over there.
There'll be some random scene in the film where they'll be like, how did they get there? Well, this and this. Moving on.
Yeah, I'm going to explain it with this metaphor, cheese and bread. I don't know. I don't know, it's as good an explanation as any.
In the trailer, you see the moon and then suddenly... and the spaceships.
I don't think I've ever seen.
And they fly to Earth. It's like lasers. You think I'm making this up? I'm not. It was such a.
I've never seen this man so animated in my life.
It was such a good trailer because it was just. It's not even possible. But they made it into a film anyway. I don't know how it ends.
No, we've just completely sidetracked from Super, but
Super. Yeah, like we said, Super was all right, but it's not.
Just shush already. We'll end the show there, and he can go on a nerd rage some more.
Hope you've enjoyed this week.
Yeah, we've definitely enjoyed it. I know that much. And we will see you back same time, same place next week.
Thanks for watching.
Episode 7. See you later, guys. Have a good one,
guys.
Fuck you.